Well, hello YouTube. Out in this little pasture today, and beautiful sunny day, warm day. Feel spring coming, and I hope you can hear me through this wind. I'm going to upgrade to a good mic here sometime soon. And well, I don't know if you could see in the distance across the pasture here. I frequently take my dogs out to this pasture. It's close by. You might see a little white, something white near the ground there, right? It's a good 200 yards out, 240 yards out. So anyway, I just having these little random thoughts I have every now and then. Wanted to show you about this young sapling, kind of a cedar tree, and it sprouted up and bloomed very well a few years ago, to the point where I had considered doing some of the Yule time celebrations with it and nourish it and take care of it. I grew up in the Rockies up in Wyoming, and I miss the pine trees, the lodgepole pines and conifers and aspens. And here come my dogs. So, hey Lily, what you doing, girl? All right. And of course Raven. They guard their dead armadillo they've had out here for a while now. So anyway, I grew up around a bunch of pines, lodgepole pines. Feels very Christmassy, as a lot of people like to say. And man, that's a desiccated looking bastard. I'm surprised he's not dismantled. Usually if they find an armadillo, they like rip it to pieces after it dies and find pieces of the shell all over my yard. So wow. Anyway, so there's this little cedar tree across the way, and it just stood out all by itself, and it looked really nice. Well, my neighbors ran their cattle through here, and for some reason the cattle, oh no way, look at this shit. Really you're gonna take a bath in that shit? Yes, Lily, that's nasty. Don't do that. I gotta watch Raven. She gets her nose out there and she starts finding shit. So anyway, they let their cattle out here, and the cattle stripped this tree, nearly killed it. I mean, it was just barren. It was barely clinging on to life, and I was very disappointed. You know, I don't want to sound like the stereotypical tree hugger, but there's kind of a connection to this tree. To me, it was unique in a unique location. I liked the look of it. It was very healthy, and it got me to asking questions about what it means to be good stewards if you work in agriculture like most people do here in the American Midwest, the American South. How much can you profit off the land through, you know, running your cattle and what have you? How responsible can you be? So I find that there's often an imbalance. So in my own small way, after these cattle nearly destroyed this tree, I noticed that one of them had died not far from this tree. You know, probably about a little past this little spot of water right there. And it's frequent, you know, they lose cattle all the time. There's coyotes and all that good stuff. And there's always carrion of some sort around here. So I was really hoping to bring this tree back, and it's been about a year and a half now. I took the skull off the dead cow and more or less gave it as a gift to this tree here. And I thought, well, maybe it'll benefit it. Maybe the skull will leach calcium into the soil help strengthen it. Maybe at least keep it alive. And I really didn't think this tree was going to survive, this young sapling. And you could see the damage to the lower limbs is still there. Still very strong. And of course I used a stick to kind of stake the skull next to the tree because I did not want my dogs to take off with the skull. So here it is, if you can see this. It's thriving under the circumstances. Lower limbs are definitely damaged. The tree is much taller. It did survive and actually grow. And these other deciduous trees give it just enough shade in the summer to keep it from getting, a little burnt by the sun. It is a little too hot here for coniferous trees. And of course, the skull is still there. Still there. Little spider. And so I'm hoping over time that skull just nourishes this tree. So, again, it just has me thinking about, as human beings, and whether it's running livestock or just hunting. I know a lot of good hunters. I grew up in Wyoming, and for me, I thought the hunters were overall better than the ones I deal with around here. There seems to be a machismo associated with hunting here, where it's I don't know, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? They take pride in their opportunity to be cruel or to harm animals. They don't value animal life, right? And of course, I think that has also a lot to do with the more Judeo-Christian perspective in the American South, where animals have no soul, no identity, no emotions, they're just here as another form of property, something to take. I think that's very problematic. I think it's probably one of the more problematic aspects of Christianity, for example, when it comes to how you treat the world around you. You see it as something you just exploit and use up as resources. It encourages unchecked greed, okay? So, hence why so many environmental issues. So we got to be good stewards, obviously. Now, all that being said, I think we have to find a balance. The hunters I knew growing up in my home state, and this is, I know this is anecdotal, this is just my experience, most of them were also conservationists. Many of them did not believe. I knew guys up there on those plains, up in those mountains, that can make ridiculously long shots at great distances in bad conditions, wind way worse than what I'm doing here in the cold. Lily, what are you doing, girl? Is that fun? You having a good time? Anyway, and they would not shoot unless they can ensure an ethical kill. They would not shoot. They had to get close enough to make sure they tried to kill that pronghorn antelope or that mule deer, whatever they had to do it. They did it with one clean shot. They did not want the animal to suffer. That was something that was taught to me at a young age. I contrast that with a lot of people here they'll set out feeders and regularly feed deer, and when it comes time for hunting season, they'll get a compound bow or a rifle or whatever. They'll climb up in a tree stand, maybe 20 yards from where the feeder's been kept, watch their favorite basketball team on their phone, wait for a deer to come to its usual spot, and then they kill it, and they're almost proud of it, like it's some skillful accomplishment. I mean, you put free pizza and beer in my fridge every day and I'm not aware of it. I think my fridge is magically producing beer and pizza. Then one day you wait and ambush me as I go for the pizza. I mean, shit, my daughter could do that. She'd probably do that to think it'd be funny. So yeah, it's a little crazy. The world's kind of a crazy place sometimes. But I think we just should be mindful. Our place in the world doesn't mean we can't use resources. Doesn't mean we freeze in the dark, that we quit eating meat. But you know, I do think, yeah, sometimes I don't want to be cruel to animals. I understand the arguments for vegetarians and vegans. But man, bacon is just so delicious. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Still see if my screen is going. Pup? What is she doing? What you got? So, anyway, that's just my brief 2 cents. I don't mean to make this a big monologue. That's just something to consider. What small part? And I guess the overall message I'm kind of giving when it comes to this little skull as a gift to a little sapling is, I think we could all do a little things. There's a lot of us. I think there's way too many of us, truthfully. Humanity has not really been checked by natural selection in a long time. But that being said, if enough of us just do something small, just pick up that plastic bag you find, just you know, keep things a little clean. Try not to burn so much plastic, all right? Just some common sense things. Do something maybe proactive and positive for our natural surroundings. Easy to do. Even if you live in a large city and you're in a park, it could be done, right? So, enough of me yammering, and I hope this resonates with some of you. I hope I didn't bore you guys. Try not to. But I'm getting a little distracted here. My dogs want to play, and so do I. So I'll see you next time. Bye.